There are many issues here in Harvey that residents have brought to our attention. Residents marched from a nearby church right here to the municipal center before tonight's meeting. Several police officers were on hand, some residents calling that an intimidation tactic.
We're just seeking the transparency, participatory governance. We have several questions about the bills list, and if we know what's going on in adjacent communities, we certainly don't want to model those types of things.
Stop holding the license! Leave the churches alone!
Tension in suburban Harvey continues to grow. Residents taking their fight to the street in a peaceful protest.
Where are the licenses?
Finally, outside Harvey's municipal center, residents holding signs. One of them saying, quote, Mayor Clark is worse than Tiffany Henyard. Another one, quote, stop harassing vendors. Business owners saying their licenses are being held up. Residents complaining of a 3% water hike. Pastors outraged after Harvey churches are now required to obtain a business license or their doors threaten to be closed. At least 2 city council members and a packed room of concerned residents are calling for transparency on how village dollars are being spent. The mayor's critics are also asking that his administration be investigated along with his business dealings.
It's unacceptable. You have been elected to serve. You should serve with integrity, not pushing the agenda of the mayor, not pushing the agenda of what he has asked you to do in his office, but I'm expecting people to do what they have been elected to do. And when you get aside from that, then you need to be removed.
What? Why are you intimidating somebody with a business? How can this happen when we got more policemen here than I've ever seen in a year? Who's paying for all of this? Who's paying for all of this stuff we got going?
When it comes to the money, we just ask for transparency. You're an attorney. You know better.
Now, city council members tell us more than 70 businesses and over 100 churches are impacted by Mayor Chris Clark's latest mandates. We asked to speak to Mayor Clark. I even gave my business card to his chief of staff. We were told no, that he is not available.
Riot Fests rocking out in Douglas Park, no more.
After nearly 20 years in the city, the music festival is moving to the suburbs. Casey Cronus is live in Bridgeview now with the latest. Casey.
Hi, Dawn and Terrence. Yeah, that announcement was made this morning with co-founder Mike Patrician saying he is fed up with the Chicago Park District. In a letter issued to fans, he said he is, quote, tired of playing their games, unquote. 24th Ward Alderwoman Monique Scott tells us permitting inefficiencies were a factor in the move. Now, Riot Fest has found new stomping grounds at the SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview, where they will unveil what they are calling Riot Land. Scheduled for September 20th through the 22nd, there is on-site parking available, and organizers say they plan to transform the stadium into a whole new experience for fans. This year's lineup features Fall Out Boy, The Offspring, and Sublime. A spokesperson with the Village of Bridgeview says they are excited to welcome fans to the suburb.
When Riot Fest reached out to us, we were we weren't trying to solicit them away from Chicago. We didn't do any of that. They reached out to us, and we're very happy to work with them. We think they're phenomenal, and we know that SeatGeek Stadium will give them exponential growth. We have one stage built in at SeatGeek Stadium, in the stadium itself. And as you might see from Summer Smash, they've set up another stage, a music stage, with tents out in the fairgrounds, which are right adjacent to the SeatGeek Stadium.
In recent years, community members in Douglas Park have called on Riot Fest organizers to find a new location, saying that the setup and takedown monopolizes their green space. Now, the Park District tells us they have worked tirelessly to balance those needs of the community with the needs of event organizers, and tell us that the permit for Riot Fest in Douglas Park is actually still pending approval.
There is controversy surrounding Riot Fest's move from Douglas Park to Bridgeview. The 3-day music festival will now be at SeatGeek Stadium. And that means the Chicago Red Stars soccer team will have to find a new venue to play their game that weekend. The club's president called it unfair and unfortunate. State Representative Cam Buckner is also weighing in, calling the switch a slap in the face to women's sports.
We are following a developing story this morning out of Dixmoor. So let's take you live there. Still an active scene. You can see the crime tape is up around this area of Dixmoor Playfield at 141st and South Wood Street. And there's surrounding a picnic table, several different vehicles. This looks like a sheriff's vehicle, but also police in that area. Again, we're looking to find out what exactly took place here. There are reports that the shooting happened during a cookout there. The medical examiner says one person has been killed.
What are you holding there?
I have 4 tickets issued from the village of Dalton, and each ticket is $500 a piece. That is $2,000 worth of tickets that I have here.
Dalton Park District President Cleo Jones says they were stunned last week when they received citations for doing work without a permit. He says 2 of the tickets were issued for spreading fresh mulch on district playgrounds.
So every year we replenish the mulch in the park to ensure that the safety of the kids are playing on a safe surface by playing on some healthy mulch. And we do this every year.
Have they ever asked for a permit before?
Never. Never in a million years.
The other 2 tickets appear to be for replacing old playground equipment with brand new equipment.
My response was, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What does the village have to do with the park district?
Jones believes the park district, a separate unit of government, is being targeted by controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who's currently at the center of an FBI corruption investigation. The Park District believes it's retaliation for allowing the 4 Dalton trustees opposed to Henyard to hold meetings at a Park District field house after they were barred from Village Hall, including the meeting in which they appointed former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate Henyard.
We do not play the politics here, and don't put us in the middle of politics by issuing us these political citations.
But it's not just mulch and swing sets. They say Henyard is holding up $600,000 in grants for the Park District, one from Blue Cross Blue Shield, the other from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, by refusing to issue permits for the work.
We have gone to the village for permitting and they have been unresponsive. I have a project manager that is working on that, and they just refuse to give us the permits.
Dalton Park District Director Stephanie Wiedemann says if they don't get the permits in the next few weeks, the $400,000 grant to overhaul Blackstone Park with a new walking path and gazebo will expire. And taxpayers will have to eat $150,000 in money that's already been spent for the park's design.
What resident wants to look outside of their house and see beat up stuff? If we can upgrade these things and you're preventing it with a permit, the residents are suffering. They don't get to look out their door and see nice things because you're stopping it.
Just because we finish doing something safe for the community, upgrading our playgrounds. Why? Why are we receiving citations for doing upgrades to our playgrounds?
There's a horrible accident involving 2 cars and at least 1 bicycle.
This is happening on the north side, and investigators are still trying to sort out the wreckage. Casey Cronus is live in Rogers Park with a very active scene. Casey.
That's right. And in addition to those 3 children who were taken to the hospital, fire officials tell us 2 adults are also in critical condition. The scene is still taped off and detectives are investigating exactly how this unfolded. Take a look at this Citizen app video from earlier tonight. It shows the chaotic scene with a dark blue vehicle flipped onto its side in the alley and another car in the front lawn of an apartment building. Windshields are smashed and one of the car's tires even ended up on the sidewalk. There you can also see at least 1 bicycle mangled in the mess. This happened near the intersection of Marshfield and Jonquil Terrace, just steps away from the elementary school Gale Community Academy. Now, 2 of those children who were taken to the hospital were sent to Lurie Children's Hospital. The 3rd child was transported to Lutheran General, and we are told that there was 1 adult here at the scene who refused medical treatment. Police tell us they are still working to piece all of this together, including what may have played a role in this crash.
And we have new details tonight in the shooting of 3 Ogle County Sheriff's deputies, one of them still in the hospital after undergoing surgery. It happened just before noon in a gated neighborhood in Dixon. Police say the shooting suspect's mother called police and said the suspect was in distress and armed. Deputies tried to reach the suspect several times through his cell phone, but they didn't get an answer. They also tried to make contact with him outside the home, but were unsuccessful.
Due to the lack of communication, it was determined that our emergency response team would enter the house and determine the well-being of that individual. Immediately upon entering the house, our deputies received fire from inside the house.
And the suspect was also shot and underwent surgery tonight. 2 of the deputies have been released from the hospital. The third was shot in the face, but is expected to survive.
Second Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins says police came to him asking for an 8 p.m. curfew for unaccompanied minors, saying if this had been in place a week ago, a vicious attack in Streeterville might have been avoided. A young couple out in the city last week attacked by teenagers. Hopkins says police could have intervened if a current 10 p.m. curfew for unaccompanied minors aged 18 and under had been moved to 8 p.m.
Had they had the ability to break this crowd up, they knew they were underage, they could have potentially prevented that attack that caused great bodily harm to that young couple.
Hopkins introduced the 8 p.m. curfew ordinance at today's city council meeting. Mayor Brandon Johnson says an ordinance like this would be too confusing to enforce.
If a young person has to be accompanied by an adult, what is the definition of an adult? Is it an 18-year-old? Is it a 19-year-old? Is it a 21-year-old? These are just reasonable questions. And, if a child is downtown at 8:01 with an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old friend, does that count as the accompaniment?
Hopkins says police would not have the authority to arrest minors, but to take them to the nearest police station and call for an adult to pick them up. He says it would prevent mass gatherings of youth at public places late at night.
The groups are gathering earlier. They're gathering on the beach. The beach closes at 11 p.m. The curfew kicks in at 10 p.m. So an ordinance like this can help remove the young people a little bit earlier and get them safely home.
I understand what Alderman Hopkins' concerns are. I have them as well. But it's important that whatever we do as a city, it has to be something that is effective and that it works and that we can actually implement it and that it's constitutional.
Hopkins faces an uphill battle to get votes in support of this ordinance, but notes the ShotSpotter vote, where Mayor Brandon Johnson and his allies were roundly defeated by older people who wanted to keep ShotSpotter. Hopkins says this vote could break down along similar lines.
One person is dead and another is in custody after a wild public bus chase in Atlanta. A man stole a bus after shooting and killing a passenger. Now, the rest of the bus riders were held hostage as the bus just barreled through traffic for several hours during rush hour. It ended up hitting several vehicles and eventually stopped.
Some guy shot some guy on the bus. Apparently they were arguing about something.
An officer arrived about 1 minute later when he confronted the perpetrator that didn't force the bus driver to drive off. There's a common theme here from what happened earlier today. Mr. Greer is a convicted felon.
Now, as police mentioned, the 39-year-old suspect had previously been arrested 19 times, some of those involving a gun. The Atlanta mayor calls the bus driver a hero, doing everything he could in that moment to keep the passenger safe.
Chicago police are announcing new changes.
Specifically for how they respond to large crowds. Tia Ewing is live with details on what those changes are. Tia?
Well, Terrence and Dawn, the changes, they come in preparation for the Democratic National Convention, but it also includes teen trends where we've seen hundreds gather. This is the document outlining changes to how Chicago police will respond to crowds, protests, and civil disturbances. You'll remember this scrutiny that the department received after protesters took to the streets after the death of George Floyd in 2020. In some cases, there was unrest and even looting, but there were also reports that police officers covered their badges and name tags.
The Inspector General said, we saw all of these violations of First Amendment rights in the 2020 George Floyd uprising.
This new policy is in preparation for the DNC. Some of the changes includes this. Members of CPD on the front lines during protests will have to activate their body-worn cameras to record all law enforcement-related activities, show their star number and name tag at all times. Just last week, CPD showed us some of the protocols now in place. The policy also means sergeants will be assigned to those arrestee transport vehicles.
I think for mass arrest processing, it was no supervision at the trucks. It was no probable cause or lacking of clear probable cause and identifying who actually saw what occur.
Part of the change in the 14-page document includes how police respond to teens gathering in mass numbers. Anna Durr works with the youth and says she wants to see how the policy changes work in real-life situations.
We do get policy changes, but you don't see the actual effect of the work being done of what they said in that policy.
The so-called abortion pill can remain on the market. Studies show about 2/3 of American abortions involved this drug last year. Challengers of the drug claim the FDA had an improper approval process for it, but the justices rejected that, saying the anti-abortion group does not have enough of a legal basis for the lawsuit. The case had threatened to restrict access to the drug across the country, including in states where abortion is still legal. Local U.S. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth tweeted her support for that decision. She says, in part, relieved the Supreme Court unanimously rejected efforts to restrict access for millions who need it for now. Illinois Democratic Senator Dick Durbin praised that decision as well, saying in part on X, radical right-wing judges and extremist Republicans will still try to strip women of their reproductive freedoms. We will fight back. He, along with other lawmakers, know the importance of this ruling.
It preserves the status quo for medication abortion, ensuring that doctors and patients can access the drug because they concluded that the plaintiffs who brought this case, a group of anti-abortion doctors, did not establish that they were sufficiently likely to be injured because of the availability of medication abortion, which of course is an extremely safe drug.
Justice Kavanaugh wrote this about the case, saying, "We recognize many citizens, including the plaintiff doctors here, have sincere concerns about objections to others using mifepristone and obtaining abortions. But citizens and doctors do not have standing to sue simply because others are allowed to engage in certain activities." We're still waiting for another abortion-related decision from the Supreme Court. This one related to whether doctors can be forced under federal law to perform an abortion in a medical emergency, even if it would be illegal under state law.
Fox 32, home of the draft. I am so excited. Training camp. The Fans. The Fox 32 sports team. Fox 32, your home of the Bears.
The fireworks along the lakefront are something to be seen. Navy Pier lit up again tonight. Beautiful. But what does it take to light the fuse on a show that thousands enjoy?
Our photojournalist Ed Gardner and Ed Flynn give us a look, unlike any other, behind the scenes of the spectacular Navy Pier fireworks.
We're putting artwork in the sky, and the good thing about it is we can actually see what we're doing here. That way we can feel confident that the customer is going to enjoy their show.
Okay, so this is one of our smaller bunkers for storage. These bunkers all hold bulk storage. So when the product comes in from overseas, some domestic, some overseas, it all comes here first and it gets delivered to these bunkers, and we categorize it by product type and effect. We use about 40 bunkers in total. These buildings originally housed munitions that were manufactured here during World War II, so they're the perfect spot for fireworks storage. It all starts out by going into the bunkers. From here, it goes on to our packing house after the shows get scripted. So the warehouses on the left are all full of equipment that gets used to perform the fireworks displays. Mortars and racks and firing systems, just anything we would need for a fireworks show is housed in here. With the team at Navy Pier, they have an awesome creative team that comes up with different themes and ideas to reflect the programming that they have at the pier. We have about 30 full-time employees here right now. The building down there is called our packing house. That's where a lot of our product comes to from the bulk storage, and where it gets separated and labeled and marked for preparing to put on a fireworks show.
So now see what I've done? I've dragged this in there.
So once the soundtracks get finished and approved, we have a team of 8 choreographers that take the music and they look through our inventory and they plan every second of every display by matching up the best fireworks for the look that they envision in their mind. And then once that's done, that creates what we call a script, and it literally is a script of the entire fireworks show. Years ago, it was a lot of shows that were just, you show up with a box of fireworks and you just shoot fireworks. And now I think the way we set ourselves apart is we script every show. Every single fireworks display, the entire display is planned out ahead of time. And when it's showtime, that takes that script, it has a script inside of it. That computer only knows how to do one thing, and that's shoot fireworks. And so when it's go time, it plays through the entire fireworks display from the computer and tells each piece when to fire. Every year we rotate about a third of our inventory just to keep things changing. That way we can have the latest and greatest effects. Navy Pier, we do anywhere from 35 to 40 shows depending on what's going on that year. We start Memorial Day weekend and go through Labor Day every Wednesday and Saturday. So all the Navy Pier displays are 10 minutes, which is, we find, is like the perfect amount of time to capture everybody's attention and highlight the music as best we can. Our designers, the sky is their canvas. They look at the fireworks as different paints that they pull out and paint the sky with the different effects. The best part of a show is when you hear the audience, the roar of the crowd after the fireworks show. You can't beat it.
You have that person that's just always down and out and grumpy and in a bad mood, but he goes to a fireworks show, you're going to see a smile on his face by the time the show is over.
Bears gone for a quick summer break before the rookies return July 16th, veterans July 19th. Receiver Keenan Allen going into the last year of his contract, switched agents, hoping to break the bank like Justin Jefferson. Roma Dunse's just looking to break Bears records.
I think Brandon Marshall has the single season record here, right? I'm forgetting the name of the guy who has the career record, but yeah, but he was a little bit ago, right? So, of course, chasing those records, and I think that's important because, I said this at Washington. I want to hopefully leave the Bears organization better than I found it, and if I have my name on some of those records, I feel like that's just one facet of doing so. So, absolutely, yeah.
One of the most popular Chicago Bears at O'Hare Airport today to help spread the word about a program that gives Special Olympics athletes an opportunity to work for United.
All right, appreciate everybody listening. Obviously doing the job today. So we'll try and get you checked in on your flight, get to where you're going as soon as you can.
Chicago Bears tight end Cole Kmet meeting two of the United Airlines Special Olympics service ambassadors as they help passengers board a flight to Texas.
I've been working with them for now about a year, and it's a great organization, something that I'm really fond to be a part of, and done things like the Polar Plunge back in March or so, and it's just a great organization, and anything I can do to kind of help uplift these athletes, I want to be part of.
The Ambassadors program started 5 years ago. United hiring 4 Special Olympics athletes to work here at O'Hare, 16 nationwide, greeting passengers and helping them navigate their way through Terminal 1.
It's a busy airport, so helping passengers know where their gate is, helping them know where security is. I enjoy showing kindness and love to all of the passengers that are flying on United.
This really helped me with my people skill and really how to talk in public, because I do struggle with that a lot of times. So I have built a lot of confidence of talking in public and being more confident about that.
Kmet's visit also calling attention to United's Miles on a Mission program, in which loyalty members can donate their unused air miles to the Special Olympics, allowing athletes to fly to events all over the world for free.
Really, the goal of the program was to deepen our relationship with Special Olympics. We realized some of the athletes were incredibly talented and could bring a really unique skill set to United Airlines.
And the Special Olympics athletes we talked to say that working here at O'Hare and interacting with the public has actually made them better athletes because it's given them the confidence to succeed.
Just a short time ago, President Barack Obama truly made a bunch of construction workers feel extra special. He shook all of their hands and he thanked them for their part in building this monumental campus. Now, take a look at this video that we shot for you. The 44th President of the United States arriving back home here in Jackson Park, greeting construction workers, also signing a structural support beam. You can see an estimated 100 construction workers that gathered for today's special milestone. The museum building is the tallest structure on the 19-acre property, reaching 225 feet. The highly anticipated presidential center features a fruit and vegetable garden, athletic programs, events facility, a world-class museum, and auditorium, also a branch of the Chicago Public Library. Officials say it's estimated to generate 700,000 annual visitors, a long-term economic impact of more than $3 billion, and it'll generate more than 5,000 jobs. Here's more from President Obama and one of the interns lucky enough to meet him.
And the dedication that all of you have shown, the professionalism, the hard work, the willingness to be out here when it's freezing cold, the sacrifices all you make is to make this happen. Something that I could not be more grateful for and appreciate.
So you shook his hand. What was that like?
It was a really cool experience. He came out, he signed a beam, and he wanted to appreciate all the workers, so he shook almost everyone that was there's hand, and he went on his way.
And the center is expected to open in 2026. President Obama joked with the construction workers, saying he'd shake their hands, but he did not have time to take individual selfies, or he said he'd never make it back home.
In less than 1 month, some of NASCAR's top drivers will be zipping through our city once again.
Construction for the Chicago Street Race is getting underway, and it means you may need to pump your own brakes. Casey Cronin live along Columbus Drive with more. Casey.
Hey, Don and Terrence, the course footprint is similar to last year's and will be built in and around Grant Park. And the build began today with Ida B. Wells closing down between Michigan Avenue and Columbus Drive. That is where main viewing will be constructed for the race. Now, the temporary closures will ramp up over the next several weeks in anticipation of race weekend on July 6th and 7th. While you are urged to start thinking of your route to or from work and planning for some extra time, you may not feel the impact until significant street closures take effect on Thursday, June 27th. But the good news is this year's build won't take as long as last year's. Crews are cutting down setup and takedown time from 25 days to 19 days.
Last year, we knew we were going to learn a lot. It was our first time doing this. It was the city of Chicago's first time. So following that event, we did an after-action exercise with our partners at the city and really just continue to look for ways to tighten up that schedule. Minimizing disruptions to the local community, the residents, businesses is a priority for us. The majority of the street closures really won't occur until you get closer to race weekend. You'll start to see them on June 27th and then really in earnest on July 1st.
NASCAR has launched a website for residents and business owners. There you can receive daily updates on construction schedules, sidewalk and street closures, and parking restrictions. We will have that linked on our website.
You might call it double trouble for your olfactory senses. Not one, but two extremely rare corpse flowers blooming here at the Chicago Botanic Gardens in the same week.
This is something I've only ever seen growing on like documentary footage.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost doesn't look real.
Yeah, it really does. It feels like a movie prop.
Fans of strange fumes flocking to the Plant Science Center at the Chicago Botanic Gardens for a rare double helping of the world's most noxious plant. The corpse flower named Sumatra began blooming on Friday, and an even bigger corpse flower named Spike is set to bloom later this week.
The Titanarum is the world's largest unbranched inflorescence. So as you can see, the flower itself is just massive. It's very tall.
These rare arums from Sumatra take over 10 years to flower, and when they do, it's memorable, releasing a horrific scent designed to attract pollinating insects that feast on rotting flesh and vegetation.
All of them kind of have slightly different smells. None of them are pleasant. So sometimes they smell like rotten vegetables, like stinky rotten fish, like a decaying animal.
It smells terrible, just like they described.
So you're happy about that?
Yes, the advertising was accurate.
It's stinky.
You like it because it's stinky? Yeah. How does it smell to you?
Like dead people.
The Botanic Gardens has 21 of these strange creatures and collects the pollen when they're blooming to trade with other institutions that are working to keep the Titan arum from going extinct.
And we store it, and if we want to pollinate ours or if other places want to pollinate theirs, they will reach out to us and ask for pollen, and we can sort of look at how related the plants are to each other.
Now, they can't say exactly when spike is going to bloom, but probably this week, and you can track it yourself on a webcam, a camera, yes, trained on that plant.
Redeveloping this property has been years in the making, and bringing it to fruition will take several more years. But the village says it won't be raising taxes to make it happen. Instead, the $440 million project will be done in part through TIF funding. Since 1960, Gulf Mill has served Niles and surrounding communities. But like malls across America, it has experienced a decline in recent years. Some studies, though, show demand for retail space at shopping centers is on the rise again. In Niles, the village is looking to level most of Gulf Mill's existing structure and create a mixed-use development. Headed by the Sterling organization out of Florida, a re-envisioned Gulf Mill will include new retail, luxury apartments, entertainment, and a pond with the mall's nostalgic water mill. While the AMC will be demolished, Target, Burlington, JCPenney, Ulta, and Ross are expected to remain. Mayor George Alpajanis hopes the project will transform the mall into a destination to live, work, and play.
Gulf Mill was, the jewel of all shopping centers in the United States. Some of the most famous people played her, from Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack to the Temptations to the Jackson 5. So this was the place. I put it out to referendum last year. 75% of our citizens said, keep going. This is what we want. This is what we need in Niles. The reception is very good. People are always worried about property taxes and things of that nature, but the way that we've put this together, our citizens are protected 100%. I've been reassured that not only by the village manager, but by our TIF consultants and our attorneys and our financial advisors.
In about 2 weeks, the Niles Board of Trustees will take the redevelopment agreement up for a vote at its meeting.
This man used rocks to spell out the word help in the hopes that he would be spotted on the shoreline in Santa Cruz County. Check it out here. His call for help was seen by a private helicopter pilot who then alerted California authorities. The Department of Forestry and Fire Protection helicopter arrived, was unable to safely land on the cliffside beach. However, a crew member lowered himself onto the beach, tethered the stranded kite surfer to him, and then pulled him to safety.
Get pretty gnarly, and the wind can come up in the afternoons especially, and that's when a lot of kite surfers and windsurfers come out here and up the beach a little bit.
Hobby not without its risks. Rescue crews say the kite surfer was not hurt. Authorities say it's still not clear how he got stuck or how long he had been stranded there, but there were, as that individual mentioned there, strong winds and very rough seas at the time of that rescue.
Chicago has the third largest park district in the country that includes some 250 field houses. Many of those field houses are more than 50 years old, and they need a lot of updates. The new announcements today by park district officials will help enhance the experience for so many young people. But first, let's talk about what's going on right here in the Belmont-Cragen community. A groundbreaking ceremony happened earlier today. Several families from the area were in attendance. The development will replace the park's 70-year-old existing structure. The new field house will include a half-size gymnasium. Now, this is all a part of a $100 million investment into neighborhoods citywide. There will be 4 new field houses in total, featuring the first inclusive playground in the city. Also, playground renovations, Wi-Fi and electrical infrastructure enhancements, new artificial turf fields, and expanded riverfront access.
Thanks to Alderman Felix Cardona and some TIF dollars, we're able to bring a field house that is going to expand the footprint of this field house, and it's actually going to have a second floor.
So you can't wait for the gymnasium to open, huh?
No.
What sports do you want to play?
Soccer and basketball.
Soccer and basketball, I got you. Tell me your name.
Esther.
And the new field house set to open here in Belmont-Cragen will take place next year. Those other field houses that we talked about that will be new will be placed in the Morgan Park neighborhood, East Garfield Park, and also in the Pilsen neighborhood.
Want to know Chicago politics? Listen to Paris.
Elections, conventions, corruption.
there's a lot to get to.
Paris Schutz, the most trusted name in Chicago politics,
Making sense of the issues that impact all of our lives.
is on Fox Chicago.
I'm Paris Schutz, and I get to cover politics in the world's most fascinating political city.
Find Paris on air on Fox32Chicago.com and streaming on Fox Local.
Let's get started.
There's a hidden gem in Chicago's theater district and a dinner experience like no other.
Like no other. Elizabeth got to head over there to give us a closer look. We are ready for your performance now.
Well, you're going to have to wait just a little bit. We're at Teatro Zenzani at the Cambria Hotel. I have been practicing my hula hooping, so stay tuned for that. But first, Doyley's back with us. Hey, Doyley, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. You know, it's all about love, chaos, and dinner here. I'm the chaos, if you didn't see that.
We didn't know if you were the chaos or the dinner. We didn't know which one.
Well, both. I am a bit of a snack.
So tell us all about the show again if anybody missed last hour. What is the show all about?
You know, cirque, cabaret, songs, it's all merriment. From the beginning to the end, a full meal. Oh, like we said, a snack, that's me.
And a visual snack. We've got Zita behind us. She's a very good hula hooper.
Yep, she's incredible. And she doesn't get dizzy, I promise. Cross my heart.
Okay, well, Zita, take it away. Unbelievable. Zita, great job. You are a professional hula hooper, and I can't do any of that, right? I didn't practice that, you guys. I did not practice that. How long have you been hula hooping?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, I've been hula hooping for 10 minutes. Am I going to do okay?
No. Yes, you're doing
Okay,
good.
guys, here I go. Ready? Here we go.
Here you go.
Bear with me. Ready?
Here you go.
Oh, you got
Wow.
it. You got it. Like a pro.
I think they might want to make her part
10
of the
minutes,
show.
that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
I know. I think they're going to try to get rid of me, and they want you to hire me. Does that work?
That works.
Okay.
That
all right.
works. I think you have a good potential.
I also think I broke a hip.
2 Chicago police detectives are being honored tonight for going above and beyond to help a 10-year-old shooting victim.
That victim is now a high school graduate and still considers the detectives to be family.
So, well, there you go. There's Devon.
Just spend a few minutes with detectives Kevin Lynn and Patrick Munyon and Tavon Tanner.
We were just talking bad about you. Yeah, like usual.
And you can feel the love they have for each other.
Family.
They've essentially been a family since August 2016. That's when 10-year-old Tavon Tanner was shot.
Myself and Detective Munyon were at the hospital when Tavon came through the hospital doors, and I'll never forget that. We'll never forget that. The way he looked, it was very grave.
His mother, Melanie, was right there with him.
Melanie, from right away, when she walked in the hospital, she was nothing but cooperative with us and understanding our job and that we were there trying to help.
With her help, they were able to arrest a shooter, and Tavon recovered.
He's just a great kid. He's got the greatest smile. Doesn't say a lot at first, but then once you get him going, he's fun and entertaining kid. He's fun to be around.
And over the years, the bond grew so much that it was noticed by the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation. The detectives honored for their work with Tavon all the way up until now.
Over the years, the detectives brought kid stuff to Tavon, baseballs, mitts, and the like. And in 2020, they started a fundraising campaign to cover tuition for Tavon at St. Patrick High School.
That's right. They helped to raise money to pay his tuition for St. Patrick, and they kept him motivated.
I treat Tavon like I treat my son with things.
The fact that we were able to have the smallest part of anything to do with that, I mean, makes me proud.
They did a lot for me, and they family. I don't really say it a lot, but I love y'all. And thank y'all.
You too, bud.
Isn't that the sweetest?
Love it. Great story.
They would go to his house and sit in his living room with his mom and talk about all of the issues that he might be going through and give him advice. They spend so much time with him.
Fantastic. We need to do more stories like that.
Well, Illinois has seen billions of cicadas, right? But not everyone is bugging out over them. What's better than one rare cicada, you may ask? How about two? They were discovered by a 5-year-old little boy in Palos Heights just days ago.
Like at school, I found a spider, like little spiders.
Oh, like that cicada that just landed. You want to take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you got your mouth open,
fear.
but just like that,
No
he
fear.
picked it
I
up.
like
Yep.
it.
Jason Prang, he loves playing, but his affinity for the outdoors has gone way beyond the playground. Even his T-shirt says he loves bugs, and he really means it. The 5-year-old even had that backpack you saw there, naming some of his favorites. While most people here in our state have been bugging out over billions of cicadas that have emerged from the ground, Jason, as you can see with his little hand there, is going all out to catch cicadas. He's caught Reggie. The family says that cicada had blue eyes, but then he caught another one. He showed us Snuggles. That's who he's holding right there. He was caught hanging out on Jason and Justin's playset in their backyard. And what makes him rare is he doesn't have the signature red eyes. They appear to be a little gray, and the brothers may catch, they say, even more rare ones.
How many cicadas have you caught?
10.
So that's little Justin there. That's the little brother.
Little bro.
Jason told me he plans to be around bugs for his entire life. He wants to be what he called, this was his quote, a bug scientist.
Yep.
Also known, though, I had to tell him,
That's what it is,
formerly
though.
as an entomologist. But
that's
either
what it
way,
is.
yeah, pretty cool. It's still a bug scientist, right?
The good name choices, too. Reggie and Snuggles.
Yes.
That sounds like a great comedy.
He told me that he wanted to name another animal in his life Snuggles, and when that didn't pan out, he named the cicada Snuggles.
Reggie and Snuggles.
Yep.
That should be our new nicknames. All right, a popular
Who would you,
summer tradition.
wait, who would you be?
I'm about to be Reggie. What you mean?
Love you.
We've slithered on over to Feathers and Scales here at Brookfield Zoo, Chicago. I'm with the CEO, Dr. Mike, and who's your friend?
We've got an eastern fox snake right here joining us today, one of 4 different species of snakes that you can find here in the Chicagoland region that we have with us here in this building.
And tell me a little bit about him or her.
So fox snakes are a wonderful species. They do a great service to society in terms of controlling rodent populations here within the region. There's no venomous snakes here in the Chicagoland region, so that's something that a lot of people get concerned about when they see a snake, is they think it's venomous. But really, they're just wonderful animals. They play a great role in maintaining healthy ecosystems and eat a variety of different food items. So these guys primarily eat more of rodents, but the garter snakes that we've got here eat fish and other aquatic animals as well.
And let's move on to the garter snakes. Tell me a little bit about them.
So garter snakes are a really common species, so it's one that a lot of people may encounter even in kind of an urban environment. Generally a very kind of quiet and timid snake, not one that people are likely to really have any interaction with, and just a great species.
And then there was a green snake as well.
We've got a green snake and then also a western hognose snake here. The western hognose right now is what we call blue, so the eye caps on that animal have turned blue right now, which means the animal's getting ready to shed.
Ooh.
So you'll see those eye caps kind of flash to blue for a day or two, and then they'll go back to clear, and then that's when the snake actually sheds off their entire skin, all of their scales, including the one scale that sits over their eye.
I think I've made a new friend here.
I think you have, yeah.
I love him. Oh my goodness, so cute. Okay, so oftentimes when we're outdoors, we might encounter a snake. So what should we do?
So the best thing to do is just not disturb them. So if you come across a snake, just remove yourself from the situation, back away calmly, try not to scare the animal. They're generally doing their thing. They're not aggressive in this part of the world. We don't really have problems with snakes that are going to go out of their way to have an encounter with a person. So it's really just to best observe from a distance and take in the joy of kind of seeing some local wildlife.
wildlife.
And make a new friend. That's what I say. All right, Dr. Mike, thanks so much, and it's been a pleasure.
The Enigmatist is on stage right now here at the Chicago Shakespeare Theater. Joining me now, David Quander's back. Hello, sir.
All right, what's up?
So tell me about the Enigmatist. Where did the name come from?
Oh, enigmatist, enigma, puzzle, right? And then if you think of like a hypnotist or a mentalist, someone that performs those things, I'm someone who performs puzzles, the enigmatist.
Yeah, I love it, I love it. So your show runs through June 30th, interactive, a lot of families, young people. What can they look forward to?
Oh, all right. So it's all about solving puzzles and me doing magic tricks, which are puzzles for everybody to figure out. There's a mysterious box on stage, and the whole audience will solve puzzles to figure out the combination to that box.
I love it, I love it. Tell me what's best about performing in Chicago, other than what you've experienced in other parts of the country.
Yeah, the nerds are coming out for this show. It's great. You are so brainy here in Chicago. It's awesome. This whole set, these are all puzzles and secret codes for you to figure out. I'm a New York Times crossword puzzle constructor. My people are coming out to the show. It's awesome.
I love it. Well, the floor is yours. Show us a couple of tricks.
I'm going to show you a card trick. Okay. First, I want to point out, I got this prediction envelope here. This is going to stay right here. Okay. All right. And why don't we just mix up some cards? You want to just shuffle some cards? I mean, any way you like. You can overhand shuffle them. You can cut them back and forth. Perfect. Whatever you feel like. Okay. Good, good, good. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to produce some cards.
Let's watch him.
See,
let's see what he's doing.
If I can make a little bit of order out of this chaos here. Okay. All right. So check this out. I'm going to cut. Yeah, get down. I'm angle proof, all right? I'm angle proof. No, it's okay. Look at this. This is a triple swivel cut. Okay. And this first card right here, the 17th card, that's an ace of hearts.
Ace of hearts.
Right? Interesting. Check that out. Okay. The next one, that's a little easier to find. That should be about, boom. That's a 2 of hearts. That's card number 2. Right? You see where this is going? Look at this. The next two, like this, 2 cards at the same time. Boom. Look at that. We got the 3 and the 4 of hearts. I'm going to take these 2 cards together. They're going to find that 5th card. Check this out, the 3 and the 4. Together, they're going to go fishing for, boom, this card right here. You know what it is, the 5 of hearts. Why don't you grab that prediction envelope, open that up. Let's see if it matches. Look at this. Let's see if it matches. Pull out.
I can open it.
Yeah, you can pull it out. Look at that. We got 6. No, okay, I'm a little bit off, but you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. The 3 seems a bit off, so I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to double it right here using my sleeve. You know magicians use their sleeves, right? Check this out. Watch this 3 right here on my sleeve. It just changes like that. And now I have a 6. So 6, 1, 5, 2, 4, and that matches. But what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I love puzzles. And I love secret codes, and I'm going to show you what this means because 6. Do you know what the 6th letter of the alphabet is? A, B, C, D, E, G? F is the 6th letter. Okay. Then we got 15. We got 15. The 15th letter is an O. And that 24th letter, is an X. Thank you so much for having me on. It's so great to meet you, Nate. Come stretch your brains, my friends.
I love it. You all definitely have to come down to the Chicago Shakespeare Theater. The Enigmatist is on stage June 30th. Definitely a treat for you all. That is the latest here at Navy Pier. Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago. I'm
still amazed.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
If he needs anybody to be cut in half, Nate, or he's got any knife throwing segments, maybe you could be an assistant.
You confused?
No. Natalie said if you need somebody to be cut in half or
come down to the
it's not gonna be me. He ain't cut me in half.
See what you signed yourself up for.
No, I signed Nate up for that.
Well, have you seen Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars? It airs right here on Fox 32.
And we have a local contestant on the show. She is showcasing her business skills and her innovative approach to baby and toddler nutrition.
This is the new definition of baby food. Have you ever thought about the way that kids experience food for the first time?
Erica Beth Levin has. She's an entrepreneur and creator of Global, a company inspired by her own children and her first child, a son who was a picky eater.
I knew it was because I wasn't giving him, texture, flavor, and spice. And so I gave my daughter coconut shrimp curry as her very first food. And knew I was onto something when she loved it, and realized that there's lots of parents out there that don't want picky eating kids. They don't want want to deal with food allergies. They don't want to deal with texture aversions.
And this Northwestern grad is on Food Stars this season thanks to her 7-year-old who saw the show and said, "Mommy, you could do this."
I actually didn't apply, even though I told him I did. And months later, he reminded me and he goes, "Did you ever hear from Gordon?" And I said, "That's not really how it works." But then I did apply. He made me do it on the spot. And about a month or so later, I was on my way to London to film.
Levin and the others are all vying to win $250,000 to put back into their business.
It's very much The Apprentice for food founders.
She founded Global after creating recipes with award-winning chefs, which focus on a child's flavor window between the ages of 4 and 18 months, the time where exposure to diverse tastes can shape a child's eating habits.
Global is food. Little people should be eating the way big people do and enjoying different textures.
She goes through challenges on the show and tries to win over Ramsey and his co-host Lisa Vanderpump. She knows where the prize money would go.
For me, it's inventory and product and just creating more and more of the recipes. And then strategic first hires, marketing.
Levin is in some stores like Thrive Market and Amazon, but this experience will help her expand. Her open to the public watch party is Wednesday.
At 1871, where I was actually the first female founder there. And so a very full circle turn of events.
Catch her and Global in the next episode of Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars.
Erica, we can't wait to see what happens, even though we know you know.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything.
I appreciate it, Dawn.